August. I'll ask.
I don't have any coffee in my cup. I'm not sure.
Oh, you know what? It might be going. We're live. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, and welcome to Cup Chat with Birding with Texas A&M AgriLife Extension Service. As you can see, the three of us are all together. I think it's the first time we've ever been all together on Cup Chat ever. So we are out birding. That's why we don't always look as great as we normally do.
And because last week was birding the border and there wasn't a lot of sleeping.
No.
And there still really hasn't been a lot of sleeping in the aftermath of it. But we really appreciate the Long Acres Ranch that is putting this up right now. Are we going to talk about why we're here?
Yeah, we can. Absolutely. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. We're at the Long Acres Ranch out near Richmond, Texas. I get Richmond and Richardson confused, but we're near Houston, not Dallas. So.
Yes.
the non-Texas here is going to mess it up. We're out near Richmond,
Which is not
Texas.
Considered East Texas for everyone out there.
Not East
We
Texas.
just wanted to clarify, because some people in the room think that where we're at is considered East Texas, and that's highly false.
However, if you draw a line down the middle of the state, we're east of I-35.
We are on the eastern side of Texas as compared to the western side.
Okay.
But this is not considered East Texas. We would never say that.
Okay.
Well, one of
However,
us might.
We are here to scout for Learn to Bird -East.
Yes.
because we're east of I-35. That's my dividing line, I think.
That's fine. You can say that we are east of 35. That is a true statement, and it is a when we use like west of or north of I-10.
Okay. So
East of 35.
We are here to
Not East Texas.
We are here to scout for Learn to Bird East because last year we had so much fun with Learn to Bird and it had such a good turnout that we decided to make a Learn to Bird West, Learn to Bird East. And the Long Acres Ranch is awesome.
It is.
So
it is absolutely.
It's an A&M property that I had not been out here before. It's managed by the Natural Resources Institute. And they let us come out here and we did some scouting and it was good stuff.
I'm going to bet people can't hear you. I'm just saying.
It is a beautiful property. We've just kind of been blown away since we got here about, the potential that's here. And I'm just really excited to be guiding the program out here.
Yes, and I'm actually about to get on Facebook and check any comments that you have about East versus West Texas. So send them through.
So also to make sure you can hear us. Emily's worried that you can't hear us, but I'll speak louder.
There we go.
Is there? Oh, yeah. No.
Okay, so
let's
a little bit. Oh, see, we do have one comment. Good morning from Pennsylvania.
That is the Eastern U.S.
Yes, that's official. Yes, you live north of us.
Northeast.
So, okay, let's really. Oh, cardinal. No.
No.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes. Yes. Oh, look how cute he is. Doo, doo, doo. All right, sorry everyone. Not good to Cup Chat with window in front of you. Let's really quick. Let's all the three of us go through and say our favorite part of birding the border, and then we are excited. It was great, and then we'll share the dates for next year. Okay.
Also, I had an idea that when we're done with all of the Cup Chat, because we got a laptop, we should show off for everybody a little bit of what Long Acres Ranch looks like. So they get excited about Learn to Bird.
You can do that.
Anyhow. My favorite part of birding the border was, the winery is one of my favorite places. And having everybody out there and just that feeling of like you're about to kick it off and everybody's coming together and there's birds, it's a great place. And we're hearing kiskadees and the black-bellied whistling ducks who wanted to roost. And that was just fun that beginning of the festival feeling was really fun.
Yeah. If you are watching and you are at Birding the Border, we want to hear your favorite part of Birding the Border in the comments too. Let's see. My favorite part of Birding the Border. Another bird. This is like awesome. Like they just fly right there. My favorite part of Birding the Border was Ryan, it's your turn.
Well, my original answer was also the winery, just because our first big Birding with Extension event was our first Birding Border back in 2018.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A long time ago.
And that's
Back when we
where
were saying people.
Right.
Super. Yeah.
And that's where we ended that event. We kind of had a wrap, and we had some really special moments, and it really felt like a family. And so to start off this Birding the Border there, just tied it back to where it all began, and it was really surreal just to see that how much we've grown, and how excited people were for Birding the Border this year. And then I can't not say that we on one of my trips to Fort Clark Springs, where I grew up birding, we did find a Cape May warbler, which was a first county record and extremely rare and very exciting. So that was a good moment too.
Yeah, y'all go, if you don't know and you're watching, go to allaboutbirds.org and type in Cape May Warbler and look at the range map, because it's not just like, oh, they live in East Texas. It's more like they live east of Texas, or migrate through east of Texas, where they're way outside their range. So
Well, that little guy got lost apparently. So I think my favorite was our list. So what we did was we had this huge master species list. I guess that's what they're officially called, species list. And so then the guides would come back and put their dots each day in the list, and we divided it by location and day. It was so cool to come in and see at the end of every trip how many species each group got. And even on bad days, our guides found and our birders ended up seeing lots of different species.
We didn't have any bad days.
Well, it was raining.
we got really wet. If anybody who's watching the weather forecast or was a similar part of the state,
It wasn't bad.
it rained. But it wasn't bad.
It's
Still saw
true.
lots of birds.
Burning the border can make it rain. It's just fact.
And that's, despite that, what did they see at Zuberbuehler? From the shearing shed, they saw like 40 species. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So it was great. And I think that was really cool to see how, when the guides came back, because Maureen and I didn't get to go in the field this year, which is kind of new and kind of nerve-wracking that we didn't know what was going on.
Yeah.
So, but they used dots. And so I think at the end, it was neat to see, species totals from properties that totaled 80 and 90 every day. And that was totally my favorite. So,
So can I say though, my other favorite thing was
Brian
Brian said
she gets
two.
two.
Brian said
Well, you
two.
stole mine.
Okay.
But you just reminded me that we didn't get to go on the field except the last day when we took lunch to everybody at the duck pond. And that was my other favorite thing, was when you and I finally got to go on the field and just sit. And it's gorgeous there, and the trees, and it was.
Oh, and the
green kingfisher.
And the green
Emily
I identified a green kingfisher
on the
in
wing.
flight.
You would be so proud, and
Flying.
got everybody a sticker bird.
Yes, I did.
Mhm.
I
It
know.
was good.
So super exciting. We had so much fun. Definitely could have used a lot more sleep last week, but it was what it was. So we enjoyed and glad that everyone came to join us. So now let's kind of dive into what we're talking about today.
Did you have species number?
Oh, Brian, do you have a species number? Are we going to share that?
Sure.
Okay. Brian has the total species number.
I have the species total for all of our trips over the course of 3 days was 182 species, I think.
And our previous Birding the Borders, even with more days than that, what was our highest? 146?
That was 130.
130. Okay, so we kind of blew it out of the water from our previous
Good morning,
Birding the
Michael.
Borders. So
Yes, absolutely. Now let's talk about what we're doing today.
yes.
So we're going out to scout a private property for our Learn to Bird East Texas, to clarify. So we're excited about really providing something on this side of the state for new and beginner birders. So Learn to Bird, real quick, short memo is it's technically touches 3 days. It's like Friday, Saturday, Sunday, but it's only dinner Saturday, all day Saturday and half a day Sunday. So it's not like
Dinner Friday.
3 days.
Mhm.
So, super excited to be providing something, and it's designed for new and beginner birders or somebody who maybe has dabbled in backyard birding but hasn't really birded. So basic, they kind of started on thinking about basic identification, definitely knows what a cardinal looks like, maybe a mockingbird, things that I can see out the window right now. And then want to take their birding to kind of that next step. So that's kind of what Learn to Bird is designed for. So then we have one of those here. Now where are we going today, kids?
Well, we're maybe going to Galveston, to the coast.
They're looking at me because it increases our drive time home by a couple hours.
And it would be totally awesome if it's worth it. But the reason we're going down there is because
So in spring, you can have this event, that's called a fallout. And so that happens when birds are migrating from, Central America across the Gulf of Mexico all night long. And when they encounter northerly winds, that causes them to become exhausted, tired.
Kind of like we're in the border. We
Right.
should have a great fallout.
Fallout party.
Fallout party.
Fallout party at the end of Birding the Border. Yes, yes.
Ding.
This is how our brainstorming goes.
Yes,
Now everybody got to.
Anyway, so these birds are getting exhausted flying into this headwind across the Gulf of Mexico. And so when they finally make it across, the ones that do make it across,
That's sad.
Which
Let's not
is-
discuss that.
it's a reality of this
Reality.
event.
It's called Darwin.
Yep, exactly. As soon as they see land, as soon as they see decent habitat, they fall out of the sky into that habitat. And all they're interested in doing is refueling and eating as much as they can. So you see a lot of birds that would normally have migrated further inland, and they're very approachable, they appear very tame, and that's because their only priority, like I said, is eating. They don't care about you or anything else. And so as a birder, it can be a really fun experience to go see,
All these
Does-
exhausted birds.
right, dozens
How rude
and
are
hundreds of
I
warblers,
just want to rest.
indigo buntings, painted buntings, just littering lawns along the coast. So it's a really incredible spectacle. I've gotten to see it a couple of times. But we have to keep in mind, it is, this really traumatic thing for the birds. It's not something that we really wish for when we're thinking about the birds, but when it does happen, it's kind of a great opportunity to see a lot of birds that can be difficult to see up close, really up close.
And it's cool just because you have so many of them, and because, like Brian said, they're not thinking this is spring. They're migrating for breeding season, but they're not thinking about breeding right now. And so that's what's cool is you can have so many. I mean, you'll have painted buntings, all a bunch of them together. Whereas normally this time of year the males are starting to sing and be territorial. They're all.
Oh, what we
they're
saw
all-
yesterday, buddy. Ting. I'm not going to say it on camera. The yellow ones that.
You have to say it.
No, I'm not saying it on camera. I am not. Everyone knows that I cannot speak.
Was it a warbler?
It was a word.
Was
It went ding, ding,
Was
ding.
it a prothonotary warbler?
It was.
Yes.
Yes.
Not any other word that starts with P and is well.
No. Okay, Mary Pearl asked us when Learn to Bird was scheduled for. And so we have the dates pulled up. I'm sparky on that one.
Oh.
So Learn to Bird West is October 8th through the 15th, and 8th through the 11th. And that will be in West Texas in Valverde County at the McKenna Ranch. Super excited for that. We have extended that to a Monday. And so let's explain that just a smidge. So Learn to Bird West will be 4 days. Learn to Be East will be 3 days. In West Texas, it takes forever to get anywhere. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna sneeze. Oh no, I can't. Oh no, okay. It takes forever to get anywhere. So, while we're only maybe 20 miles-ish from the Devil's River State Natural Area, if we go to the Devil's River State Natural Area, it takes over an hour. Plus, once you're out there, it takes forever to navigate that property. So we were very rushed last year trying to get back and get everyone out on time. So what we're going to do is not rush. If you want, or if you're close enough to drive home and it's still daylight, you're more than welcome to. But if not, we're going to go ahead and include the opportunity to stay over till Monday, because if you leave McKenna, you still have an hour drive to the nearest town.
Yeah.
So it's fairly far from everywhere. So Learn to Bird West is kind of sort of 4 days, but not really 4 days. Again, Friday night, all day Saturday, most of the day Sunday. You can either choose to drive home or stay until Monday. And there's nothing on Monday. It's just so you can not drive home so late.
We'll feed you breakfast.
I will feed you
I get
breakfast.
big bits early.
And then Learn to Bird East is October 13th through the 15th. And that will be here in Richmond, which is just outside of, just west of Houston. So we're super excited for those dates. I am really excited about the fallout today, even though we really don't want them to completely fall out.
And another thing about, so with Fallout, as we're predicting these events, so the reason I was sort of predicting this for this morning is because we did get those north winds blowing through, and we are in the middle of migration of all these new tropical migrants coming from Mexico and South America across. But it's not just enough to have those north winds blowing. Conditions have to be right also on the Yucatan or other places in Mexico and Central America for the birds to actually make that leap and say, okay, these are good conditions. We're going to start migrating across the Gulf, and then they have to be hit with those north winds. So if the conditions aren't right down there, then they won't leave, and the north winds won't cause any sort of fallout. So you kind of have to have this perfect or imperfect storm, literally, for this thing to happen. So I haven't heard any reports from the coast yet to see if this is actually happening this morning or not. So we can kind of guess, but we don't really know for sure until you get there.
Yeah. So. Well, we're gonna get there. All right, what's fine. We're just gonna do it. YOLO, you only live once. You're only exhausted once from birding the border once a year.
And that's kind of the great thing about being on or looking for this sort of stuff along the Gulf Coast and the coast of Texas is that even if the fallout doesn't happen, there are lots of other great birds to see. So you can always have a great day, even if there aren't lawns littered with buntings.
That would be not even buntings or bunnies. Painted bunnies.
Well, lawns littered with bunnies is a very different thing.
Painted bunnies.
Yes, lawns littered with painted bunnies.
Is a whole same thing.
Well, it's the same thing.
Yes. So, what else, guys? We promised would not.
Well, we can't go too long because we're trying to go scout we're going to go to a private ranch that has invited us to come out and bird this morning that may also be part of Learn to Bird. But I just realized we're talking about migration, and I never told your favorite of my migration stories. And it works because we're still talking about migration today. And then I want to give everybody a little field trip of where we are.
So I will let you take them on a field trip.
So we talked about migration a couple weeks ago, and Emily likes for me to share my migration joke. That's really just more of my migration analogy. Okay. Which is the difference between spring and fall migration. And why is spring migration when we hold birding the border and when so many festivals happen, and why is it just such a big time to be out and be birding? And the reason for that is that springtime is breeding time. And so my comparison is that spring migration is like if you have free pizza and a bunch of cute girls and you say to a group of teenage boys, the birds are like the male birds are like the teenage boys, and you say, hey, over there, there's free pizza and really cute girls. How quickly are they going to get over there? Real fast, right? That is spring migration, is that there's limited resources. There's free pizza, but there's only so much free pizza. There's cute girls, but there's only so many cute girls. You better get over there as fast as you can. And that is spring migration, is that they're trying to get up there, stake their claim on a territory, find a mate, find where the best food is. And so they're hauling it. Make baby birds. And fall migration, though, is more like you're just headed back to the other place. So like the pizza's kind of running out. There's no girls, but the pizza is running out. So you need to go over there.
It's okay.
But it's just kind of slowly dwindling, and there no girls really either place. There are girls, but you're not interested in the girls. So that's kind of the spring versus fall migration difference that I like to use, and really just how quickly all those birds are going from one place to the other.
I will say that's the worst you've ever.
That is the worst I've ever told that.
No,
It doesn't help when you're not sleeping.
No,
So,
I like that's the worst I ever told you.
sorry. Well, maybe whoever didn't watch Cupcake will probably be that.
There we go.
When you teach, jokes get repeated a lot.
Yes.
Teach different people, same
Yeah.
thing. So.
Well, I'm
Field trip
excited.
time?
It
I'm
is
excited to give
field trip.
everybody a field trip.
Okay.
So, okay.
We'll say goodbye because Maureen's gonna take you on a field trip, or do you want us to go with you?
No, you don't. I'm just gonna show out there because it's so beautiful. Like we've all just been seeing from here.
Okay.
Let me.
Okay. She's gonna get the door ready for you to take you on the field trip.
Oh yeah, that one's definitely locked. Okay. We got it.
Oh my, everyone. Y'all are gonna have a wonderful field trip.
It is a beautiful morning.
It is a beautiful morning.
It is beautiful, and we're so excited to have this as a Learn to Bird -East location. All right, here we go.
All right.
This would be easier if we had like a phone. Okay, say bye.
Bye. Have a great Wednesday.
All right. Field trip. This is the guest house. You won't be here. I can't go too far because I'm afraid my internet's gonna drop. But oh, true. Internet coming with. All right, so here we are on the Long Acres Ranch. And I would give y'all more details about this, except they're not in my brain right now because we're all so tired. Try not to drop things in the wind. All right, so this is the direction that we were facing when we were looking out the window and getting distracted. So you can see how beautiful this is, and I hope it looks good on the screen. I'm not gonna put my face down because then you'll just see my big head. They've got a feeder set up. There's a little feeder over here too. There are some bluebird houses on the property and some wood duck houses that are not currently being used. But this is just looking out the one direction, and I'm sure y'all can hear stuff too. I'll be quiet a minute. I actually woke up to an owl earlier this morning. There was a barred owl that's been hanging out, and Brian and Emily both saw it yesterday. And then I'll go ahead and show off over here. So this direction, there's some archery, but over that way, there's some native grassland that's been replanted. Again, I hope y'all can see this okay and it's not too bright. But I mainly just wanted to show y'all off this direction and see how beautiful that is and get excited to come join us for Learn to Bird. And we are, if y'all could see far enough that way, there's houses. We are not far. I think that's something that's going to be really cool. When we do Learn to Bird West, we're kind of out in the middle of nowhere, which is awesome. But for those of y'all who are located close to the city, or maybe you're just not comfortable going out to the middle of nowhere, we are very close to the creature comforts of civilization here, but still on a place that is fantastic bird habitat. So we hope you'll come join us. So now I'm going to sign off. Thanks, everybody, and we will see you next week.